Around the Ozarks is now on your FM radio. Listen to Around the Ozarks mornings with Grace Gooley as I spotlight local people, stories, and podcasts, all while playing the country legends of the 90s and the hit makers of the 2000s. It's on the Ozarks Best Country, 105.1 The Bull. It's time for Around the Ozarks Sports Scene, brought to you by Colton Steakhouse, Thompson Sales, and Deadeye Gun and Pawn in Sparta. Here's your host, Scott Purrier.
Welcome into another edition of Around the Ozarks Sports Scene. I am Scott Purrier. As always, big thanks to you, our viewers and listeners, for tuning in as we talk sports in the Ozarks and beyond. And it's summertime. One of my favorite things to talk about forever has been golf. And going to catch up with one of our favorites. She's the sweet swinging lefty from Buffalo, Missouri. Went to high school at Springfield Catholic, won 3 state championships there. Now just completed her 3rd season at the University of Kansas as their number 1 player this past season. We welcome in Lyla Louderbaugh. Lyla, good afternoon.
Hey, Scott. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Doing great. Thanks. I know you're getting ready to get out there in actually nice weather today. We're taping this on Wednesday afternoon. It's in the low 80s. That sure beats mid-90s or 105-degree heat index, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The last 2 days have been pretty brutal out there.
Yeah, of course, you know, in your world, you have to prepare for all kinds of weather conditions. I know talking to your dad, he had said get out there and in the heat of the day, because you never know what the weather's going to be like in Tennessee, because you're headed there sometime later this week, early next week, for the a return to the U.S. Women's Amateur. Had a great run last year, got to the national semifinals, became a national story as you knocked off the number 1 player, I think in the country or the world, was it, in the quarterfinals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the world.
In the world, yeah. And then made it to the semis in the most prestigious women's amateur event that we have. Lost to a fellow Missourian, Brooke Bierman, Michigan State golfer. She has now turned pro. I think she's out on the Epson Tour right now. But a great run for you, and you earned an exemption back into the tournament this year. Kind of talk about where it is and what your expectations are.
Yeah. This year it's at the honors course in Tennessee, kind of near Chattanooga. I'm expecting it to be pretty warm. My dad and I talked to the caddy I'm going to have out there, and he kind of just walked us through what to expect from the course, as far as like the grass and kind of the layout and what you really need to emphasize on when practicing for the event. And so we're expecting kind of thick rough around the greens, around the fairways. Trees don't really come into play, but the rough is pretty penalizing. And then, yeah, just fairways and greens, he said, is the most essential thing to do. And then playing for pars, he said, is the best way to do it. So.
Yeah, Bandon Dunes, where you reached the semis last year, probably so different than anything else you'd play because of the links style course and the high rough and all that. Is this completely different, this course?
Yeah, I mean, at Bandon there were pretty much no trees, so it'll look a lot different. And at Bandon there was also not very much rough, just because everything was kind of short, firm, and there's a lot of wind, so having trees around and rough will kind of emulate more something that's around home, so something that's here. So I'm sure that I'll find my way around fine, but it'll be pretty different than Bandon for sure.
Well, and we mentioned you are lefty, so things are a little backwards in some cases where you need a slice and other guys are trying to hit a draw, or other girls. We know when we talk to your former teammate Reagan Zabilski that one of her greatest strengths is length. What I know about you is you're a grinder, you're a competitor, you find a way. At the different levels of your game, from off the tee to the irons to the short game, what do you think is your biggest strength, and if you have a weakness?
I'd definitely say my strength is scrambling. I can make a lot of pars, and when I start making birdies, it kind of just keeps going. So I think that's one of my strengths. I wouldn't necessarily say I have like a weakness, but definitely like hitting greens. I don't hit a lot of greens, but
Yeah.
like I said, my scrambling's really good. So I think just prioritizing middle of the green going into the event to make two putt pars and maybe get away with a birdie here and there is really what I'm shooting for.
Now, will this be your third U.S. Women's Amateur? Because I think you played Southern Hills a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then had Bandon Dunes last year, and I'm sure when you went to Bandon, your goals included making match play because the format each year is low 64 and ties after 2 rounds of stroke play, get to advance and play match play the rest of the way. Getting to the semifinals last year and the confidence you got in this event, how does that change your expectations and just your belief that, hey, I'm right here with anybody else, I can do this?
Yeah, I think that last year my goal was, just to get past the round of like 64-32 because at Southern Hills I made it to match play, but I lost in the first round. So making it all the way to semis was kind of I exceeded my expectations for the event, but now going into this year's AM, I know that I'm a really good match player, so just knowing just that I just need to make the cut, and then knowing that I'm good at match play and that I can play under that pressure will just take me as far as I can go.
What is the biggest difference strategy wise in your mind from stroke play to match play?
Can you hear me okay?
We're having a little audio. Had a little technical difficulty there with Lyla and internet, and we are back now. And I think we were talking about what is the biggest difference in your mind between stroke play and then having to switch gears and be good to go for match play and what it brings on.
I think in match play you can be more aggressive, but you kind of like I always start out the match kind of steady and just kind of try to gauge how it's going in relation to how your match is going. And then from that point, kind of assess where you can attack and then where you need to play it more safe and take it hole by hole. And yeah, just go do what you can do in each hole. And that's really all you can control, in my opinion.
Is there more strategy involved in match play, like just behaviors? I mean, because you watch the guys, and some of them will try to do little things to irritate the opponent, and get in their head a little bit. Do you just play Lyla golf and go on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest talker when I'm on the golf course, so in match play, you can only imagine that I'm definitely not talking at all. So I think just staying kind of in my own world and I don't really try to play mind games. That's just not really who I am. So I just kind of let the golf show for itself.
Well, I would guess also that from interviewing you for a few years, you're not the biggest talker off the course either, right?
No.
Pretty quiet. Had a good, solid junior year at Kansas, looking at your results. Had a win at the Yale Invitational in the spring, had a second-place finish, Big 12 Golfer of the Week. When you look back, 3 years in now, and I guess now with this 5 to play 5, you got an option. If you wanted to play 2 more years, you could at Kansas. But how would you assess your play this year in college?
Yeah, my fall definitely I didn't play as well as my summer led, but I think I was talking to my coach and we kind of just chalked it up to the fact that I played, 9 straight days at the USAM, and then when I got home, I packed up and went to school the next day. And so I never really got the chance to kind of take a second to relax and let my body recover. So then, I was able to kind of get that chance to recover over Christmas break, and I was able to come back and play some solid golf in my spring semester.
You need a chance to recharge every now and then, don't you?
Yeah. for
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, golf's one of those games that it does it to you. And, if you're not fresh mentally and physically, it can wear you down. And it sounds like you just went from Bandon Dunes right into Lawrence, and away we go. And
Hmm.
looking at the Big 12 tournament, a solid showing there, as Kansas and individually. Then you started your summer of golf this summer. Of course, went to the NCAA regional at Ann Arbor. Kind of talk about that experience. How'd the NCAA go for you?
Yeah, my sophomore year, I won regionals in Ohio, so
Yeah,
kind of going to the same area for regionals was pretty cool. I felt my game wasn't as good as it was going into regionals last year, but I had that confidence from the year prior, but I wasn't able to play the golf that I wanted to, but you can always take something from it, and that's what I did. I just kind of learned from the experience and move on. That's all you can do.
well, you jumped right into the starting lineup as a freshman in Lawrence, and then this past year, number one as a junior. Talk about the leadership aspect, and did you have to take on more of that role as an upperclassman with a pretty new team, wasn't it, coming in this year for you guys?
Yeah, my sophomore year, well, going into my junior year, we had lost four or so of our starters from my sophomore year, so it was a pretty fresh team, and we had two really solid seniors this last year that were really good leaders for our team. So I didn't really have to play a vital role in leadership, although I kind of did just because I was a junior. But my coach and I were talking recently about this coming year I'll be a senior, so I kind of have to step up into that leadership role that those two girls had last year, and it's kind of scary for me, but at the same time I know that my coach is a really strong leader and that I can always ask her questions and kind of fall back on her if I need anything, and that also our team is really strong and in a way like of our relationship, so it's not like we're kind of not really that we're expecting anything from each other, more so that we like kind of just can talk through it, and it's kind of more casual, but at the same time I'm excited to kind of be able to step up into that role, but a little nervous at the same time.
Which is more fun for you, college golf or what you do during the summers and those individual meets like that?
I think college golf is pretty fun because you get to travel, with the whole team, and you get to stay with your teammate in the room, so it's kind of like roommates, and you create a lot of memories on the road with the girls. So I would say, I mean, there's different aspects of it, but I love traveling with the team. Yeah.
We talked about the new legislation that has passed 5 years to play five. You get 5 years to play 5 seasons now in the NCAA, and players like yourself, you have an option now to take that extra year. We follow obviously what your former Catholic teammate Reagan Zabilski did at Arkansas. Played 4 years, had a great career down there. Went right into the Epson Tour because she qualified for it. And for those who are listening and don't know, the Epson Tour is kind of the female version of the Korn Ferry Tour for the guys, kind of the step right below the next big step. With the Epson, it's below the LPGA Tour. There's not a girl out there on the Epson who doesn't want to play in the LPGA Tour. They're all trying to get there. And so Reagan, by virtue of her senior year at Arkansas, was high in the point standings and got to go directly in. You've got that next year, your senior year, but if you don't have the year you want next year, can you stay another year and try to get the same system as far as you know and get into that and get it kind of exempt into some Epson events? Oh, we lost Lyla. We will get her back here shortly. And again, Reagan Zabilski was a teammate with Lyla at Springfield Catholic. They won 3 state championships together. Just an amazing run under Frank Gallant, who was the head coach then, And Lyla went on. Obviously, you had Reagan go on to Arkansas, Lyla on to KU. Both of them tearing it up at their college level. We are getting her back. She is efforting right now. We will pause just for a second. We have Lyla back now, and we were in the middle talking about the fifth year, the extra year. Is that kind of a nice, I guess, available tool in your back pocket if you need it?
Yeah, my coach has been talking to me recently about the opportunity to, take that fifth year, and there's a lot of pros to it, but I kind of just have to weigh out my options and see what's best for the timing. But I'm not saying yes yet, and I'm not saying no yet, so I'm kind of in the middle ground there.
Well, and we don't like talking about things like this, and very tough. I've been doing this 40 years, and when I reached out to you, we were going to talk all golf and about your summer and the USM coming up, and you've had a very tough summer. Unfortunately, you lost your mom to a sudden illness when you two were out in Arizona at a tournament last month, about a month ago, and our condolences to you there, and just something that nobody should have to go through. You took a little break there, obviously for reasons, and then dove back into your schedule. The Southwestern was the tournament you were at. Went in and played the Western in Chicago. Lyla, how much can golf be a therapeutic thing for you right now, and kind of get back into the flow of trying to get back into the flow of life at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's been super challenging because my mom played a huge role in my golf, and she always took me to tournaments, and she was kind of the one that made the plans and made the schedule and the itinerary and everything. So it's been challenging in different ways, but I had a lesson the other day with a lady in Branson, and she we were talking about it, and she kind of went through the same thing that I'm going through, and she said that she remembered journaling and wrote down that she can either sit in a room and feel sorry for herself or go out and it was her grandma, so go out and make my mom proud. And golf, it's my outlet, and so I think just kind of using that to the advantage that it is for me can really just be helpful in everyday situations.
Your first tournament back was the Western Am in Chicago, and a mutual friend of ours, Randall Schultz, golfer, played golf at Drury, a fellow lefty, so he's weird too, being a lefty and everything, understands, but he talked about how tough it was for him, and can only imagine for you as a player getting that tournament under your belt. How big was that now, saying I can do this, I can use golf, and I can get back to where I was, and this is my outlet?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard. I mean, definitely one of the harder things I've ever done. I didn't play the best golf that I've ever played, but I wasn't expecting anything from it as well, because I took 2 weeks off golf, and went only practice a week before that tournament. So the expectations were low, but I'm proud of myself for going out there, and I made 4 birdies or something in the first round, and I still shot 3 over. So, I mean, the shots were there. But then I played the Kansas Am last week or so, and I kind of had some shaky golf, but I kind of was able to see my game come back a little bit, and I was able to shoot under par in the final round, and I think that's something that I really needed to see going into the USM.
Absolutely. And the thing about you already had an entire fan base here pulling for you, and even more so now. And the Kansas Am, you were the 2-time defending champion there. I'm sure you need to go back next year and say, okay, I'm back, and
Yeah.
I'm still Lyla. I kicked your guys' butts for 2 years and I'm back. But I think you finished 7th in that, which under the circumstances, you got to be proud just being able to draw the ball back, draw the club back and get back in the flow of things too. So, and everything I know about you is that you hate taking time off from practicing and playing. They probably got to tell you to come in, at night and stuff. That's a lot of downtime for you. Can you feel it coming back now and kind of getting back into the groove of your swing and everything that you have to have ticked to be able to go?
Yeah, I mean, when you go through something like that, golf really wasn't on my mind for a few weeks. So it's not really like I was thinking about golf anything. So it was really kind of a weird feeling to come back, kind of full swing. But being able to have this like almost 2 weeks in between tournaments just to prepare for the USAM has been, I think, really what I needed. And, I went out and played a few holes after my practices, and I've been able to see those shots that I usually hit come back. So, yeah, I definitely needed this downtime to kind of just prepare and to build confidence. I love practicing putting, and, when you don't really practice for a while, putting kind of is like on the back burner because you're not really, I don't really lose feel putting, but definitely have gained a lot of confidence in the last few days from practicing that putting. So, it's been good to be able to come out here and grind and work for it.
That's awesome. How do the Silo Ridge people, do they welcome you with open arms, except when it's time to go play against you and you guys got some bets on the line?
Yeah, I mean, when it's as warm as it was yesterday, there's not a lot of people out on the golf course. So it's like I had the whole golf course to myself, which is pretty cool. But, yeah, I mean, everyone here is super sweet and super supportive. And I pretty much know everyone out here because I've been practicing out here since I was little. So, it's just really nice to have a support system and people that care surrounding you.
And I understand one of those biggest supporters is your coach at KU. I mean, she's been there for you this whole time too, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's awesome. I mean, she's come down even just to be here for me, which is, I can't ever imagine anyone else doing that than her. So, yeah, she's been awesome.
Tell me about your instructors over the course of time that helped Lyla Louderbaugh get to this point. You mentioned you work with somebody in Branson. Who is that? How did you get hooked up with her?
Gosh, this fly is making me mad. So when I was younger, obviously, I worked with Brian a lot here at Silo Ridge, Brian Daniels. And then when I was at school, I saw one of the local guys, Chris Thompson, a few times, but recently I've been going down to Megan Johnston at Big Cedar.
Yeah.
And I really like her. I mean, it's a woman coach, which I've never, like a woman swing coach at least, which I've never really had. So it's a little different, but I like how she coaches, like how she teaches. And I've been to her a few times, and I think this will be my 3rd or 4th lesson with her. So, she's pretty cool. She's from Ireland, so neat accent there. But yeah, I like how she coaches. So
she probably makes fun of the Buffalo accent you have too, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Let's talk about the future. And in the past, it's always been that you want to give it a go as long as you can at pro golf. And you've got a former teammate and a friend in Reagan Zabilski. That is it kind of cool to have somebody that you'll be able to pick up the phone and if you get out there on the Epson tour, say, what's this like and how does this work and things like that. Have you talked to Reagan much lately or not?
I've messaged with her in the last few weeks a little bit, but I haven't talked to her in a while. But yeah, I know she's always there if I wanted to talk to her, and it's been amazing to see what she's been doing on the Epson tour. I mean, like her first 4 weeks, she had like all top 10s or top 15 or whatever it was. So that's that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So
what about major for you? Have you figured out what you want to do after golf?
Yeah, I changed my major from finance to business administration at semester my junior year because I'm a perfectionist, so I hate getting bad grades. And, school is hard when you're playing golf at the same time and missing a bunch of lectures. So I switched my major, but I ended up getting all B's, so I'm kind of mad at myself for switching my major a little bit. But if I don't like finance in the school, why would I like it, in real life? So
exactly. That's a great point. It is. What is your expectation now next week in the USAM? Given the circumstances, given what you did last year, do you have to go in with a level head and say, hey, there's 156 of the best players in the world here right now? I'm going to have to scrap and claw for everything I get, just like I did last year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely expecting to make the cut, just with the experience I've had in this tournament. But then from there, it's just, match play, anything can happen, and you just kind of have to roll with the punches and play your game and, kind of strategize at the same time a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited for the week, and I love USGA events. They always, have the best hospitality and everything and all the volunteers. So I'm excited.
How'd you get hooked up with a local caddy for this one?
I'm actually not sure, but my dad, I guess, I don't know if my dad and Randall were talking, but my dad found a guy from there, and I think he really didn't want, he's a local caddy, so I don't really think he wanted to caddy in this tournament just because there was a lot going on, but he's caddied there in multiple USGA events, so he knows his way around. And when my dad reached out, he was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So
nice.
We kind of hooked him in, but he seems pretty legit. I'm excited.
What does the KU roster look like for your senior year coming up? I mean, have you guys had people portal in, or do you have how many players are back?
Yeah, we lost one to the transfer portal and then one graduated. So we only lost two, and then we're bringing in 3 freshmen and 1 transfer. So we'll have 10 this year, which is pretty big considering, like all the roster limits and cuts and everything that's been happening recently. But I think we have a strong group of girls coming in, and I've met everyone so far. Well, all but the transfer I've met. So I'm excited, and everyone's super sweet. And yeah, I'm just excited, and I'm living with all Swedes. So I'm excited for that too. I think that'll be pretty fun. Yeah, girls from Sweden. Yeah.
And have you lived with them in the past or not?
I've lived with one of them. The other, I've lived with Anna. She's gonna be a 5th year. I lived with her my sophomore year, and then Ebba is going to be a junior, and we're super close. And then the other one is the transfer. So we'll see.
Do they do anything weird? I mean, do they only shower like once a month or anything? Or
no, they're actually some of the cleanest people I've ever met.
Are they really?
Yes.
Do they eat weird stuff, or do they ask funny questions?
Sometimes they have questionable meals, but it's fine. It's fine.
Wow. Well, Lyla, we appreciate your time. We know you want to get out and practice, and like I said, you got an entire region pulling for you here, and hang in there, and let's talk about a USAM title here in a couple weeks, okay?
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you, Lyla. Good luck. All right. Thank you. Lyla Louderbaugh, the former Springfield Catholic standout, and I'll just tell you, I've been doing this for 40 years, and there are things that you don't want to talk about, but they're part of the story. And and I vetted this through Mark Louderbaugh, Lyla's dad, and Randall, a close friend of hers and mine for many years, and we just decided that it was part of the story. I mean, a girl that is fighting through something that none of us ever even imagined having to fight through, and sudden illness, lost her mom. Her mom, like she said, was her scheduler and tournament partner and everything else, and just great to see her get back on the course and fight through here just a month later and stuff. So our condolences with the whole family, but Lila's tough and she's a grinder, and we wish her nothing but the best, and we certainly appreciate her making it through that as well. So big thank you to our sponsors, as always. Thompson Sales, located at 1555 East Independence in South Springfield. The Thompson boys have been in business since 1919. They're your home for the largest selection of Cadillac, Buick, and GMC cars and trucks, new and used. They got a huge selection. Got a great service department, a body shop. They've got a brand new oil change facility there, a quick loop type deal where you can get in and out and get that car back on the road, all at Thompson Sales. I've been a customer since the early 1980s for one reason, because they treat you like family at Thompson's. They've been dealing since 1919. Big thanks to Colton Steakhouse of Springfield, just down the street at 2020 East Independence. We always say go buy a car at Thompson's and celebrate at Colton's with lunch or dinner. You'll get great steaks, barbecues, salads. They got those hot rolls, the fresh peanuts. It's all good at Colton Steakhouse, 2020 East Independence in Springfield. And finally, our great sponsor, Deadeye Gun in Sparta. Big thanks to Jonathan and his team at Deadeye Gun. They're at 7483 Main Street in Sparta, right there on the main drag. You can also visit deadeyegunsupply.com to check out their great selection of pistols and rifles and ammunition and anything you need for that upcoming hunt. It's all right there at Deadeye Gun in Sparta. Big thanks to all three of those sponsors. Also, huge thanks to Lyla for joining us. Taking her off the course is never easy. She loves to be out there working in the sweating and all the good stuff that she'll do to have a great U.S. Amateur. So, again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Around the Ozarks Sports Scene.